Hey, so today I'm going to do a 100-hour service on my Mercury 9.9 high thrust pro kicker. I've had this this is a 2024, so this service will entail everything for those newer years. I'm going to show you everything that I have for this and everything that I do on it, and then you can do it yourself at home. So I have the pro kicker, got my oil pan ready. You're going to want your oil pan. Mercury makes a service kit you can buy, which is pretty good. It has your oil filter in it, your oil filter part number. It has your fuel filter, and then you have your lower gaskets for your lower unit. Because kickers are run at such low speeds, I always change the spark plugs every 100 hours. I just do. They're pretty gummed up. They're not very expensive, and it's just going to help everything run better. So for this kicker, at the NGK, let's see, there is the part number there. You should verify with yours what your part numbers are. And then for this service, you're going to need the Mercury gear lube or Quicksilver, and then 1 quart of the 10W40 Mercury 4-stroke. I don't recommend using other oils. You know, some people do, but I wouldn't recommend it. For the spark plugs, you're gonna need a 5/8 spark plug socket or something similar. This is a 3/8. I have some screwdrivers here, larger screwdrivers, to get those bottom plugs off. And then I've got some wire brushes here because it's been a while and I'm gonna wire my anodes up. Also, we're gonna pull the prop and we're gonna grease it. We're going to grease the Zerks on the motor, and we're going to spray protectant on the inside of the engine bay of the motor. So I'm also going to put anti-seize on my spark plug threads, only on the threads, and that will help us because we're going the salt to get them off. Now I just want to show you real quick on the boat. So my anodes need to be scrubbed. This one looks okay, but look at this one. This is on the main motor. That needs to be scrubbed. You can kind of see. So I'm going to really wire brush that off and just inspect them. If they're starting to disappear a lot, you want to replace them. What I'll do is I'll start with the lower oil to get that going, because that takes a while. Okay, so right down here, right there, you have your lower drain bolt. We're going to pull that off, and we're also going to pull the upper drain bolt, and this lower gear oil is going to flow out. You just break that loose. Okay, I'm going to break this top one loose. Okay, broke it loose. Now I'm going to slowly pull this one off. Okay, the top one off. That oil looks pretty good right off the bat. That's good. Okay, we're just inspecting the oil. We're going to take a look and we're going to see how it looks. If it's looking milky or like kind of yellowish, you might have a problem with the seal, and you should get it checked out by a mechanic. Okay, so it looks pretty good right now. I'm just going to show you what it should look like. It's nice and blue. And just for reference, here is the brand new gear lube. As you can see, it's the same color, so it's not milky looking, and it'll be kind of yellow and stuff if it's got an issue. Sometimes you'll be able to tell. It'll look like kind of chocolate milky, and that'll be, you know, a sign that it's bad. But this kind of takes a little while. One thing you can do is you can kind of tilt it a little bit, different angles, try not to drip oil on the ground. Pull it this way and just kind of let it drip off. I'm gonna kind of wipe up around here just because I'm doing this in the street and I don't want oil all over the place. I'm gonna leave it for a little while, tilt it up. Again, what I always do is I record everything I do. I do it in my phone, and I also do it on the receipt of everything I purchased. So I just date it, I do the hours, and then I write down what I did. Okay, right now, I'm gonna take these bolts, clean them up a little bit, What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the old O-ring off. I don't reuse these. I don't recommend reusing them. It's just not worth it. If something fails, it's a really cheap part, just put a new one on. Okay, I've got a new package of them. Now I'm just inserting these new O-rings onto the bolts. Okay, now they're staged. At this point, it's been dripping for a little while. I think we're pretty much good. Just gonna kind of wipe that down. It'll still kind of ooze out, but we're gonna get new fluid in there. I'm gonna move this up. Let's tilt this thing as level as we can. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, now what you're gonna do, all right, now I've got the new gear oil with the pump. What we're gonna do is we're gonna screw it in here to this lower, and we still have the top bolt open. The reason for that is we're gonna pump this thing full until it comes dripping out of here. At that point, we're gonna put the top bolt in, which will help hold a vacuum, and then we'll quickly insert the bottom one. Okay, I've got it in. Now, I'm going to gently begin pumping this thing. I can't tell you exactly how much it takes off the top of my head, but we're gonna know when it starts coming out of here. You don't wanna pump it where it's squirting out. You just want a little bit to start coming out, and then you're good. We can pump a little more out too to kind of clean it. But this oil was pretty good, so I think we're gonna be okay. Takes a while, so have patience. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna pump just a little more out. Okay. All right, I like that. Just kind of clean this up. Try not to get any debris in there. Now we're gonna gently thread this on. Just got it seated. Now I'm gonna use my larger screwdriver. Insert it. Put some pressure on it and just tighten it down. I don't want to go too crazy where I'm stripping stuff out, but I want that O-ring to smash. Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, that's a lot of torque for that little bolt. Now we're gonna get the next bolt ready. Okay, I'm gonna stage it right down here on the ground. I know you can't see it, but what's gonna happen is I'm gonna pull this out and then I'm gonna slip this in. Okay, it shouldn't leak too much. It will a little bit, but that's okay. We kind of, you know, fill it up where it's coming out. They do this, they have margin of error in these. Okay, it's just barely coming out. Now we're gonna slip that in there. Okay, and we're gonna start tightening that down. Run it all the way in. Okay, now we're gonna cinch it up. Okay, lower gear oil is now done. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, but okay, I want to recap that last part. We've got new O-rings. We pumped from the bottom. We put the bolts in on the top first to seal it so it doesn't leak. We checked our oil, made sure it looked good. Everything looks good. We're gonna cross that off the list. Lower oil is now complete for a 100-hour service on the 9.9. Now, what we're gonna choose to do next is the engine oil. There's a little latch on the back. Just pop that up, lift it, pull it off, nice and gentle, set it off to the side. All right, let's do a little inspection. Just kind of look for things. Everything looks real good. This engine has 200 hours on it. It's got a little bit of salt up here, but that's okay. This thing goes and works hard, I'm telling you. Looks good, looking good. We'll be changing that fuel filter, getting the spark plugs out. Okay, one thing I did install is this hour meter. All it does is you wrap the wire around one of the spark plugs like I did here. I'll put a link in the description for Amazon. And I just zip tied it on, and all this does is when this engine's running, gives me hours, so I can just check. It's a really easy way to just keep track, because honestly, I really don't always know exactly how much I'm running my kicker. Sometimes not as much, sometimes a lot. I mean, I just went into the August with like 170 hours, and now we're at 207. It's near the end of August, but still, I didn't expect to put that many hours on it, but it just happens. So it's a good way to keep track where you're not doing like 200 hours before a service. You know, you want to keep these things running so they're reliable. Anyhow, all right, so what we're going to do on this engine oil is we are going to pull the plug. This is the engine oil plug. By the way, it's a 5/8. Well, it was on there pretty tight, so I'm just gonna tap it. Okay, here, break loose. Don't be too crazy on them, but you know, you gotta give them a little love. Now, I'm not sure how far this thing is gonna shoot out, so I'm gonna hold my pan right here just to be safe. Taking that bolt out, it's gonna shoot out. I am gonna replace the gasket here. Looks pretty good. One thing I kind of do is I pull the cap off just to let the air flow. All right, we're gonna let that kind of drizzle out. See if I can just pop this gasket off. Okay, perfect. We're gonna replace the gasket. I have a new one. Let's clean this bolt up. I'm gonna press the new gasket on top of the bolt and stage it. All right, that part's done there. I'm gonna bring you around here where the oil filter is. So if you're looking at the engine, oil filter's on the opposite side of the oil drain plug. Oil filter's right here. This reminds me I need to get an oil wrench. So I'm using some plumbing channel locks. Doesn't matter when I'm taking it off because we're throwing it away. Grab it and nope. Okay, feel it working. Hey, it's working it loose. Got it off. Now, one thing you want to verify is just check your serial numbers with the other one, make sure it's the right one. Okay, so I'm going to compare the two. Okay, they're the same. Sweet. This one has some plastic wrap on it, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to take that plastic wrap off, and this is pre-oiled. I'm going to spin this on, okay? And one thing I'm going to do first, clean this up just a hair. Gonna come in here, just kind of clean this off a little bit, get some oil off. It's just a personal preference. I like to date my oil filters. I am going to date it and hour it. That way if I sell the boat, it goes to a service or whatever, people know when it was changed last. All right, we can't pre-fill this with oil because it's horizontal, so that's okay. It's probably for a reason, probably not supposed to be. So we're gonna insert that in real carefully. And I just kind of spin it to the left a little bit just to catch those threads. Just gently gonna spin this on. It doesn't take much. I'm gonna put a rag on this, just like that, and I'm gonna be really gentle, okay? I'm just gonna grab it, just barely, and I'm just going to gently twist it a little bit more on, okay? We don't want it, you know, super tight, but we just want it gentle. That's pretty good. Okay, lower oil is done. Oil filter's on. We still have the oil plug off. We're gonna go put that oil plug back on, and then we're gonna fill this up with fresh oil. So remember, have the old gasket here, new oil plug. Let's spin this back on, right here. Insert that in. Okay, finger tight. Now I'm going to take my .5/8. I'm gonna just pull it. I don't want to crank this thing too tight, but I'm just going to cinch it down. It's pretty good. Let's give it one more little snug. I don't want to rip this thing off. I just want to get it tight where water's not going to get in. All right. Remember, a lot of this stuff is like aluminum, so you got to be extra careful, okay? Okay, got the plug back on right here. Got the oil filter back on. We're ready for fresh oil. So I'm gonna take this cap off. Remember, we are going to use 10W30 Mercury 4-stroke. You can also use Quicksilver brand. Got the funnel, 4-stroke engine oil. Just let the rest of that drain in there. Reinsert the cap. And we're going to check the oil. Okay, it's right on the money. It's looking good. All right, let's do the fuel filter now. So what you're gonna do here, we are going to pull it off of this tab, pull it over to the side, and we're gonna open it up. So I'm just going to wiggle it loose. It's got these two little metal brackets sitting on this rubber old mount. All right, got the fuel filter out. Got an entirely new replacement. So what we're gonna do is some pliers, and we're gonna slide these clips down for these fuel lines. If you can see that, slide these down. I'm gonna slip them on the new one, okay? All right, let's grab this. Let's try to slip this down, wiggle that off. Let's get the other side. We want to remember the orientation that these came on and off, okay? So, we got the inlet on the left and the outgoing on the right. If you're looking at it in this orientation, there's a little arrow. Right, so I'm gonna pull this little snap off just to make this easier. Set that down. Let's start with one side first. For your eyes, just in case. Okay, we got that one loose. Now we're going to insert it on the new filter. Now, reinsert the clip. Okay, that one's on. Kind of work that one down. Let's kind of try to twist it. Otherwise, you got to kind of gently grab the line and just give it a twist, and that'll kind of break it loose. Sometimes it kind of gum up in there. Gentle with it. You don't want to yank anything out from in the motor. Okay, get that off. It's the old filter. All right, insert that line to the new side. Oop, kind of leaked fuel. Whoops. Let's don't forget to put this other clip on. All right, let's put this clip back on. All right, before I do that, we got to take this rubber bracket off. So just slide it off. Separates just like that. Let's slide the rubber bracket on the new one. Okay. Okay, I've got the rubber bracket reinserted. Now, I'm going to slide it back in here. Line those up. And, okay, that's looking good. Now let's prime the bulb. What I want to do is I want to fill this back up. So the primer bulb is over here. We're going to start squeezing that. I'll show you as I squeeze it. It's going to reprime this. Now, remember, this is an EFI kicker. You do not ever want to run this out of fuel. This is not carbureted, so you don't want to pull it like the old carbureted ones. I've had a few of them. You know, you pull the fuel line and you let it run out of fuel. Don't ever do this with this motor. What you'll do is you'll burn up that pump and you'll destroy the motor. It's like an $800 part or repair, you know, with the mechanics. Probably not the part, don't quote me on that, but they told me that that's how expensive that was. Obviously, that's dealership prices, but okay, so I'm gonna reprime it now. fuel. All right, good to go. We're filled back up with fuel. Looks good, nice good fuel. Check this out. There's your fresh fuel. There's your old filter, okay? It's yellow. Now, so at this point, we got the fuel filter done, we got the oil change done, we got the lower oil done. Oil filter. Now we're gonna do spark plug. Take it off to get to the plugs. You got the 1 and the 2 right behind the fuel filter. So yeah, should have just left it off, but oh well. All right, so just gently kind of wiggle it off. You don't want to be too aggressive, okay? We're gonna clean that up a little bit. So the top one has the wiring on it from my hour meter. I'm gonna wiggle the bottom one off. Okay, got the bottom one. Let's kind of set these off to the side. Okay, bottom one, top one. All right, first things first. Let's pull that bottom plug off and get a new one in. Remember, take your 5/8 spark plug remover. Let's get in there. You might need an extension. I was thinking I would need one, and it looks like I do. Okay, we got that loose. All we're doing is getting this loose. I might even be able to just unscrew this with my hand. Yep. Okay. That is 100 hours of use. But what I'm gonna do is I've got my old spark plug. I've already compared it. It's the exact same number. What I'm gonna do, okay, and I'm gonna anti-seize this. When you do this, you don't wanna get it on this top part, okay? And I already checked gaps, so we're all good there. I'm gonna use this silver Permatex aluminum anti-seize. Just gonna take a little bit, real careful. I'm just gonna get it right here, okay? Not much, not much. Just a little bit. I'm gonna take my finger, I'm gonna run it around the threads. I don't wanna get it on the top. I don't wanna get it where the spark is. It could throw, mess things up. But what I do wanna do is make sure that this thing is not hard to get off. You saw how easy that was to get off? This thing runs in the salt quite a bit. Okay, you don't wanna get it on here either. So, clean my fingers off. Okay, I'm gonna reinsert this very carefully. Down into here. I'm always gonna spin it to the left like I'm loosening it till I kind of get it oriented right. Okay, and then I'm gonna gently start spinning it to the right. Very gently. I don't wanna horse this thing in. All right, it is threading in. Okay, snug. Now, we're gonna snug it down, okay? You don't need to reef this down. None of this stuff you need to reef down. Okay, I'm gonna pull it gently. Okay, not too tight. You don't wanna break these. Okay, that part's good. One other thing. Okay, we're gonna take a dab of dielectric grease and we're gonna put it around the boot, and that's gonna just help keep any salt, any water out. It's just good practice to do, okay? I'm gonna kind of clean this boot up a little bit. It's a little dirt. There still is dielectric grease from last time. Let's get some of that out. Okay. Okay, a little bit in there. Now we're just gonna want to push it in till it clicks, okay? Let me get a good angle. There we go, clicked in, okay? Now we're just gonna repeat the process for the top one. Maybe even just little taps. Okay, it just popped loose, super easy. Hey, that's what happens when you use anti-seize. You don't want to be messing with these salt water all corroded up. It's gonna be a pain. Just use anti-seize, trust me. It's not very expensive and it just saves you a lot of hassle. These things breaking off is no fun. All right, well, maybe it probably could still be used, but we're throwing it out. We're putting a new one in. This is a boat. Bust out another 1,000. I'm gonna reinsert that carefully. I'm gonna just barely cinch this down. That's it. Same process, let's just clean this up a little bit. Okay, put a little dielectric grease in it. Okay. Slip it on there. Come on, let's go. Bam. Hear that click? Okay, good. Now we can put the fuel filter back on. Let's slip this back on. Okay, work it back all the way onto the bracket. Hey, it's looking good. Okay, we're good there. All right, so now before I close the engine bay up, I'm going to do some corrosion spray. We're gonna try to avoid the electronics, but I have some of this leftover Gamma lube, which is gonna work fine. You can use other stuff. I'm just gonna use this bottle up, but basically what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna shake that. I'm gonna just spray it down. Avoid that belt up top. This is just gonna help us not get corrosion. I keep it away from those electronics over there. You can also kind of spray in here too. Okay. We're being pretty liberal with it. I want to keep this motor running well. Okay, that's locked down. All right, engine oil, everything, that's all good. All right, let's grease this thing. Okay, so what you do is you have some pivot points that you want to grease. All right, so I'm gonna come around here. I'll show you. We've got a Zerk here. And I'm trying to remember where the other one, that one might be the main Zerk. And there's two here. I think that might be it. I'll have to double check. Okay, get your marine grease. Flip it on to your Zerk and make a big mess. All right, we're gonna just start slowly pumping, okay? If you're going in the salt, you don't have to wait to do this. Pump, we're seeing it start to come out down below. We're gonna see it bubbling up top too. See it kind of oozing out. Fresh grease, come on. Try to keep it cleanish. Use some, let's clean up these anodes, okay? So I'm just gonna go around and I'm just gonna carefully wire brush these anodes. Trying not to get the paint. We got one there. And we got one over here. No, we don't. We just have the one. That one looks pretty good. Here's one right here. Do not want a hot boat. Okay. Things looking good there. Now, since I'm here doing this, I'm gonna do my main motors too. Get it out of the way. So we're just gonna look right here. Not want a hot boat. This one's pretty bad. anodes are scrubbed up. I'm gonna do this prop. So you want to pull this cotter pin. Cotter pin out. Okay, slip in that loose. Remember the orientation you take these washers off. Very dirty. Just kind of clean that up. I'm gonna get all this gunk out of here. I want this as clean as possible. Look for line, look for corrosion. Check your seal, make sure your seal looks good. Make sure there's no braid or fishing line wrapped up in there. This one looks good and clean. I'm gonna use brake cleaner on this thrust washer. Just get all that gunk out of there. This is all nasty. Fresh grease, okay. Okay, we've got that cinched down, not too tight on these ones. We're gonna insert that cotter pin back in. Okay, let's flip the tab of the cotter pin up. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna bend this all the way around. I'm just gonna bam, come on. Okay, that's not coming off. Okay, props hooked up. All right, that's it, we're done. Let's just go over real quick everything we've done. So, we greased, took the prop off, cleaned it, greased it, checked for a braid, all good to go. This is all put back together. We did the lower unit, we drained the oil, we put new gaskets on, we put new gear oil in. We did the engine oil, we put a new gasket on it. We cleaned the anodes on this motor and the rest of the boat, but we greased the Zerks, fill up this shaft with grease, fill these two over here. I don't think I showed that, but I got those two. We did the fuel filter, we primed it, we did the spark plugs, and we added new grease and we added new anti-seize to the threads. Sprayed corrosion spray on the engine bay. So this motor is now buttoned up. That is a full 100-hour service. This is what I do on my motors. This is a little bit above what a dealer might do, but this is gonna be running really, really well now. Already was, but it's gonna run even better. We're in tip-top shape. When this big motor hits it, I'll do a video on that, but basically this is for your 9.9 kicker.